Caitlin arrived home last night and I was asleep. Well, essentially asleep when she came home, so this was my first minute coming home from PT to say good morning to her. So sorry for keeping you waiting. If anybody's out there, and I know it's been crazy with changing the time, but I swear I have readjusted my physical therapy appointments. They will only be on Thursdays going forward. I don't need that many more, I hope. Get my hip going and working correctly. That's what I'm going for. Started from my lower back. Now it's my hip. You never know. I just want my body to function correctly. All right, let's get going. Today, we're working on block 13, lucky number 13, and it's a paper piece block. So since I printed this out before, I thought maybe I'd do the 12-inch block, but I'm not really in love with this block, to be honest with you. We'll see. Maybe I'll love it when it's sewn together. But it's always good to do new stuff. So anyway, I had already printed out the papers for the 6-inch block. So this is it. I have labeled just one of them with all the, well, there's A and B's, okay? It's a square, so it's kind of cool. But I wrote down what fabrics I'm going to use, and I pre-cut the pieces, so we're ready to rock and roll. So first thing I'm going to do, because I'm running in, is I'm going to plug my iron in and get the box so I can tip you up and, well, tip my computer up. I'm not tipping anybody up. And I am, I'll be right back. So hold on. I'm actually still here, but I'm plugging in. And there you go. You can tell I turned it on. And since I don't need steam, I don't need to fill it. And I need my little box that I put it on. Okay, good morning, Sharon. Good morning, everybody else who's come in since then. Sorry, I'm making you a little seasick. I'm putting this up here. But turns out, all right, I think this will balance. Got the cord in the way. I'm struggling a little. I'm on the struggle bus today. I think that's because I'm rushing. But I leave the tape and everything. So let's make it full screen for me. Makes it easier. Tip down. There we go. I think a little bit more because there'll be more work with the paper piece. All right, so paper piece block. Labeled what it's going to be. Get the instructions sort of out of the way because I don't need them right now. And oh, I guess I did write on all of them. I said I didn't. I only wrote on one. I wrote on all of them, which is a good thing. So you can see that they're A and B's. They go together to make a square. The other thing I want to show you really quick is there were two different colorway options. And I'm doing the one that is the smaller, this one right here, with the background in the back. And then, so I'm only using 3 total fabrics, 2 in there, and I'm adding the background piece. So I have my add a quarter ruler. I have a card. This is just a piece of cardboard this time. I usually use gift cards. I told you that last time, and I rip off, and I love the pictures and toss the part that I've read, and then I use them to do the folding. And I have this roller right here for just finger pressing as I go along. And I have printed out this pattern on Carol Doak paper. Thank you, Sharon, for the pieces that I had to print out on, which is awesome. And I'm not sure how many more paper piece blocks will show up in this, given that they only give us one a week, which is awesome. So the way it works, oh, I also have tape in case we make a boo-boo, which definitely could happen. And I pre-cut my pieces. Hopefully I cut enough of them because I did it last night. So, and you never know. I'm dropping my stitch length down to 1.8 because, or actually 1.5. Any shorter and it tears the paper And you want to make the whole perforation so it comes off easy, but not so easy that it not so easy that it falls off, because you need to keep it in place. All right, now I also am going to tell you the one thing I did on this pattern is I was thinking about pressing, okay? And when you attach it and you press on paper piecing, all the pressing goes in one direction, this way, which starting from one across. So all these seams would be going this way. And then if I did the same thing, all the seams would be going the same direction because they numbered them the same way. So I'm going to do 1A and 1B, and I've renumbered the A's the other way because it doesn't really matter. What matters is how they adjoin. So the one could be over here or over here. So I've switched it over and made the one over here, and I want to see how it lines up. So I'm just going to do one that way, and one and B's the way they said to do them. Then we'll have one corner together, and then we can just chain through all the rest of them and get cracking. And I will go through each step as we go along. I need my rotary cutter too, so I'll try not to put anything so far out of the way. So we take piece 1, which in this case is a background piece, and I'm putting it on the wrong side. Now in my case this is a light background and I can see through, so I can see through the line that it has to cover. And if you want, you can put a pin in it, which is what I'm going to do. Sometimes I don't even bother to do that, but I'm just going to in this case. And you want to make sure it's completely covering the whole area that it needs to cover. You can see by the way I'm holding it there. So I just put a pin out of the way of where I'm going to sew. Okay? The next one piece it asks for is a dark blue fabric piece. So I'm just lining that right up. I oversized them, so I'm just lining it right up even with the number 1 piece. And now I'm going to start stitching, and all of these lines connect to the seam allowance. So I'm just going to start just past the seam allowance lines that are on the pattern piece, and I'm going to stitch all the way across to the other. Okay, since we're doing 2 at the same time, I'm going to just, that was a B piece, this is an A where I switched the order. So if I was doing it the same, again, I would be starting with the background piece, but since we switched the order, I'm going to start with this one, which is this bird fabric. Okay, oh, this is one that has the double birds. So now I'm putting this bird fabric on the back, and I'm making sure that this is easier to tell, that I'm making sure that it's right side up on the wrong side. Okay, and I want to make sure that it's covering the line by at least 1/4 of an inch, and there's fabric everywhere I need it. Now I could put a pin in, but I'll show you that you don't always have to put a pin. The next one is a dark blue piece, so I'm going to stick that right on there, right sides together. And I'm going to do the same thing that I was doing before. I'm just chain piecing, and I'm just running it right from where it is going, because it just runs off. So now we've done our seam number 1 on the paper piecing. Trim off my little tail thing that I use. Taking out my pin. Now in the first one, we actually fold it down. It's the first, and we check and make sure of the 1/4 inch. So I'm putting it on there. And there was just a tiny little bit. I was a pretty good guesser. Now I'm putting it back flat, and I'm pressing it up. Okay, so now I have my dark blue in there. Okay, so now this is where I need to place the card. It folds beautifully on the seam itself. So this is where I need to put the card down. And I'm putting it on the next line that I'm going to sew on the edge of the card. And I'm folding it over. And I'm putting my add 1/4 ruler on. And that's my iron turning off, which it doesn't really matter right now. And I'm taking off the extra. This might be a big enough piece to use later, so I'm hanging on to it, but these are little. I guess I'll put my trashy ones on this side. Okay, flipping it up. Now I'm ready to add my next piece, and it says bird fabric. So I'm putting the bird fabric on here. Now I think that it's not a big enough bird fabric. I think this is a bird fabric that we want. Yeah, this is what I get for mixing up where I put my fabrics. So putting my bird fabric on there. Luckily I left all the fabric out in case I needed to trim more, because I know myself, I cannot do things late at night. So, and be good. So, right. Now this was the other piece, and we just need to trim our 1/4 inch seam here because it was a #1 block. And when I put this on there, I don't even think nope, there's still a little tiny bit to take off there. And I Purelled my leggings. Probably bleached them good when I came out of physical therapy, because I had to Purell my, oh, actually I think I did it when I got gas in my car, since I didn't have gloves with me. So I Purelled my hands, and then I wiped my car down after. Could have gone to a place that pumped for me, but I didn't want to miss being on time for the live stream, and I was a minute late anyway because I started chatting. All right, so now I'm putting this on the next line I'm sewing here. I'm going to fold it back, put this on. I think this is going to be a pretty quick little block, which is fun because it's pretty straightforward. And now I need this next piece, which is here, which is a bird's block. Yep. And I'll put that right there. Okay. So put this here. And so I'm sewing right along. And you have to remember again that nobody sees. The paper comes off, so nobody sees. This is my copy. Nobody sees that if you didn't sew on the line. And they're straight lines. So some people like to, I just have my 1/4 inch foot on. Some people like to put on their an open toe foot or something they could see the line better with. So you can play around with that. So now I'm putting this on the next one, folding it down. And putting the trim. This is not big enough to use. Again. Okay. And now I need a dark blue block. So that's a double dark blue and 1 bird, so this must be the, oh no, double black. This is the one for them. So I think this one might be a little tricky because I want it to cover this, but I think I pretty much put enough down here. This will be the true test. I'm trying to be a little skimpy because this dark blue, this is the dark blue that I actually bought more of, but still it's kind of hard to know. Oh, by the way, you guys, I made the video with my daughter Jess for the, I'm actually going to trim this down a little narrower because this is the one that goes into the point, and I didn't do it on the other one. I noticed it was a little bulky, so I did that at a 1/4, but I'm just trimming it down just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Okay. I did a video of the people, and I made the pirate, and at the end I'm going to show you my little pirate, ahoy matey. I think it's cuter than heck. The curve's a little, for his eye patch, leaves a little to be desired, so go figure. But you know what? I did it and I got it done, and I was tired by the time I was doing them, so it's kind of fun. I'm going to put it up on YouTube, so if you want to make a pirate, you can, and I will help you if you want to. Anybody who's got that book can do it, and I walk through how I read the book and everything, so it should be good. Okay, so now this is going to get its background piece. So we're going to put that on there, and we want to make sure, this is another angle one, you want to make sure that, see, it's got a cover all the way out here, so I can move this in actually to right where that seam allowance is, and then I know for sure it's going to cover all the way out there on that side. So you have to pay attention to those. And if you don't, that's what the tape is for, to fix it. Okay. All right, now I'm going to start another one because that was the last one for both of those. And then I'm going to actually wake my iron up because I want to press it. I also have the other quilt all together. I don't know that I can stand far enough back for you to see it, but I will try. And I bought the backing fabric from the old country store, which I went to, by the way. It's in, wait a minute. It's in Pennsylvania. It's, you know, they're all sort of questionable, funny names, these towns. Oh, I wasn't going to pull that out right away. All right, I did. So I'll just trim this baby while we're up here. I'll show you how I trim it. I need a smaller ruler than I have right up there. Hold on, hold the phone. So organized today. You guys are so nicely patient. And my Creative Grids ruler. Here it is. This stuff on my. So what I'm doing is putting the 1/4 inch seam line on the seam of the block. So I'm cutting a 1/4 inch away. And they have nicely trimmed the extra bulk areas out of this block, and I'm going to use scissors. You could just go around with the rotary cutter, but I'm just going to take my scissors right here, and I'm going to trim right on those lines. So sometimes it's easier, sometimes I do it with a rotary cutter. So put all that together. There is our first block done. Okay. So now we're starting this one. Now I have the bigger background ones I cut out to make it easier. Putting that right side together, right side out, wrong side to wrong side on the paper, I guess. And it has dark blue. Okay, dark blue is these. This one from this stack. Okay. Then we'll have the other one out, and we can see if my switching the order made any difference at all, or whether it was just guess I should have put that up closer. I'm heading for the corner there. That's going to be weird. Okay. Turn that out. All right, let's flip this baby up. And now we'll flip this over and trim just like we did the other one. We'll have the two, we'll have an A and a B. Oh, I almost got the name. It almost came into my brain, and then I let it fly away. There used to be a quilt museum there, and my husband and I bought when we went. It was the year. That looks like it's easier for me somehow to see this dotted line on there. This did not trim tight enough. There we go. That's better. The museum it's no longer there, on the top of that store, and that quilt store has a kitchen store attached to it, so it was perfect for my husband. He went to the kitchen store and I hung out in the quilt store. He's actually started in the quilt store with me because he does love that too. And we bought a quilt before we went into it, and in the museum was hanging a quilt done by a whole cloth quilt done like the one that we bought for our bed. It's actually on our bed right now. Identical, hanging in the museum. How cool is that? Okay, so here we go. Here's our two A and B's, and now I'm going to put them together and see what this means. Oh, sweet. Look how that nests right there. I think this is going to make sewing the block part together so much easier. Now, when you sew this, you can pin it, or I have little ones in here. You can use clips. Oh, maybe I only need, there we go. Okay, so I have big clips and little clips. Oh, that would be a big clip. It was just the right color. I'll just go with two. And I put so the flat is down, and I'm thinking that these all will line up perfectly. So we're going to try it out. I may be ripping this out. Go figure. And here we go. I'm stitching right on that seam line. Taking the first clip out. You only have to put 4 blocks together. And then, now the other thing is, these are small. If you truly wanted to, you could, let me just start another B. This is an A. Oh yeah, you need to start an A. Okay, so we're going to do the birds first. It's double birds. Oh, I think these got mixed up. So good birds, one tab down here. Okay, right here. And then we're going to add dark blue right here. Okay, stitch this right on. Now, remember this was our block 1, and I did this wonky on purpose so that you could see the trimming. Oops, there you go. So you could see the trimming off. So now I'm just folding it on the stitched line, putting my add a quarter ruler on. And I also didn't put a pin in that one. Probably would have held better anyway. So now I have an accurate 1/4 inch hanging out there. Flipping this up using my little presser. It's my iron talking to me. I'm just going to leave that there because let's open this up. I'm dying to see how well it lined up. Okay, so this point worked beautifully right here. This one, not so much. So I want to see what slipped because it really hit both points. But you know what? I'm wondering if I press one way versus the other. I think if I press it this way, it doesn't look quite so bad. I might just leave it instead of taking it out. Okay, so in the seam allowance, I take the paper off in the seam allowance before pressing. So this is what I'm doing right here, tearing it off, and see how easily it comes off. It's just, you know, the little 1.8. You can use what works best on your machine. You don't want to use too big because then you'll start ripping out your stitches when you rip it out. Okay, so now I'm going to take it to the iron and I'm going to press it to one side, and I'm going to need to make sure that I press all of them the same way because I think I can do that spiral thing when they go together, because we're going to have it meet sort of like a pinwheel in the middle here. I'm very impressed that that matched. I'm a little bummed about that one. So who knows, maybe later after I've taken all the pieces out, I might go in there and fix that. It's a little, looks like a little dimple there. Okay, but it was worth it to change those numbers there, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now let's go through the steps. I'll just keep saying them out loud as I'm doing them. I'm putting the line on. It's good for my own self so that I don't mess up, because then I start telling stories and I mess up. It's kind of funny, my roller and my, I'll put all these together. All right, now I'm ready for a bird one in here. Okay, this is where the bird ones. I'm wondering if that really is going to fit there. I should switch these out. Let's switch them out. Put this here. Okay. You want to make sure when you're stitching that you don't have a flipped piece right there. So now I'm going to get all the ones done. Okay, then I know I'm doing them all going in the right direction. So I'm putting the background on here. Right side up. I can stick my pin in. I'll get these all of them set. Well, actually, I'll just do them. Making sure the pin's out of the way. Okay, I need the dark black. I mean dark blue. Dark black. Dark blue. Putting it right on there. Okay. There we go. And the navy, I saw it flip. You gotta watch those things. It flipped under there. Okay. I wonder if maybe I didn't like stab the line perfectly in there. It's gonna bug me. Okay, there's another background. I have all of these just stacked here. Should make them easier to separate. Okay. Background. Pin it. So I'll just put that over there. And that's a 4 for the background, and that's a 4 for the background. Oh, looks like I have an extra background. All right, now, so this one needs a dark blue. Making sure, looks like all is well. Not quite. Given that I have my book that I was using behind here, I'm going to just separate some of these out. So they're going to be ready for the next step. Just take that pin out so I'm ready. Okay. All right, this one starts with the birds. That right there. Then it goes into a dark blue. Which is going to go right there. Right side up, wrong sides together. Need another dark blue. There we go. Okay. Well, I sewed those kind of close together. There's that one. Take the pin out. Okay. This one had the, fold the paper down. This is how you cut through the paper. I was just looking at the, how much I put in here. So now we're going to do all our trimming. So this one is right here. It's ready to rock and roll. Flip this baby up. And then we're going to put the cardboard on here like this, right here. Fold it down. Put that right on there. This one's ready to go, so I can feed it through. And this one is a bird's. I'll put that on here. And I will put it down here. Okay. Cut these off so they can go into the chain on the bottom. Just keep going through. All right, this is another first one. Fold it down. Trim it off. Okay, there we go. Now the cardboard's going on the line we're going to sew next. All right. Birds. We need birds. I should just know it's the opposite fabric of whatever it is I'm flipping up. Alrighty, now just flip this baby up. Cardboard goes on there. Fold it down. Perfect. Dark blue. Let's see, which way do we want it to go? This way, maybe. I think. Let's check. Yeah, should work fine. I used all the easy ones to do. Okay. This is the first one, but I can tell that there's, well, we'll just do it anyway. Fold it down. Yeah, there's really nothing to trim off from underneath the rulers. Sometimes I get it on there and I just use such a skinny amount that I have to, sometimes I double stitch it in there rather than rip it out. But the first time really doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm putting this on here, folding it down, add a quarter. And it's called add a quarter because it's adding the 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right. Here we go. The birds are going in here. Okay, here we go. This one we will have to trim off a little, just a hair, but we really don't want too big a seam allowance. Now I'm going to flip that baby up like that. And that's good. And we're going to put this on here like this. And this is going to be a bird's. Hope that last bird one is going to fit. Only one more bird one, so we're getting down there. Okay. This one has all the pieces on it now. So this one will be ready for trimming. I'll just put it in a to be trimmed pile. Okay. Put this on here like this. Okay. Well, this is the last bird one, and I don't think this is going to fit. So this is when you say, okay, you have this big piece right here. Why not just use it? Just hence why I didn't put that fabric away. Had I put the pieces in the correct order, which I usually do, it probably would have worked out better for me. Okay, so now this is a background. I hope I didn't put the wrong, no, that's got a background in there. Well, if I did, it's an easy fix. Put the wrong piece in the wrong place. So now we're going to add our background piece right here. And again, this part is longer. If I just centered this here, it wouldn't cover this point. So I need to shift it over so that it's going to have more than enough to cover that area. Okay. This one needs to be done, but let's put it on the bottom of the pile. This one. Okay, so now I'm going to take this one out here. I'm going to put the paper right here. Okay. Now we're going to put this one on here. Gotta run down to the end of that long piece of fabric I have there. There we go. Okay, we have another one that's done. We'll be ready for the iron to flatten it. Just flatten. That one's pretty flat. This one's flatter. Ready for trimming. I'll just flatten this one too. All right, two ready for trimming. All right. I think this will be the last run through on all of them. So we'll put it together. I love paper piecing. I just love it. I just think it makes a beautiful finished result. This is the last one. Guess all the rest of them. Oh, background pieces. I was like, nope, I have 2 backgrounds there. I think this will fit over the end this way. Yes. I can just put it on this way. Okay, and this one is going to be a finished one. Press this one flat. And then these 2 need backgrounds, so I'll just trim them both at the same time. Put them on there and trim them. That. Let's do this one. Okay. There we go. Now we have our 2 backgrounds. Stick them on. Okay. And there we go. It's ready. All right, there we go. That's the last one. Separate these 2 babies. Okay, we can put the add a quarter away because we're done with it. Tape because we're done with it. My little roller thing. We're done with it. And I'm going to just press these really quick. And then we're ready to trim. Do the final trim on all the blocks. Oh, no steam, paper pieced. Just such a steam addict. Alrighty, here we go. Let us trim away. These are all needing to be trimmed. I'll put these on here. So our daughter, as all you know, is still graduate school for physical therapy. Funny, I'm going. She's been advising me, helping me, along with me. She can't give me physical therapy. She's not physically in the house, but she is now. Thought she was going to come in. The riding was awfully close to where she was living. I think I said that in the beginning. As a parent, that is a very scary thing. And so I am super grateful that she is home and that we live in a neighborhood where we are affected because we all are affected. But this whole thing has helped me understand that even though I don't believe I'm a racist. I've grown up in a culture where we can't help but be part of the problem. And I've just been doing so much reading, and it's, besides being tough to take and hard to hear, super important. So I'm grateful for many things, but that she is home safe and we can have discussions, and she's going back to DC. But here's praying that this all is calmed down by then. She fit, oh my gosh, she fit all her stuff, except for one box and 2 bags, into her car. It's now in our dining room. It's going down to the basement. She's going to sort through it and take stuff down to the basement to store. Because I don't know how much she's going to need to take with her when she goes for her clinical rotations, which is what she's taking off for, because she's rented furnished places. And she actually got rid of all the furniture that was hers from the place where she was staying. And blow me away that she was able to do all that, you know? All right. Putting this all in the trash, cleaning up just one little bit. I know I have to cut the corner pieces off. And actually, I don't need to cut them off, truthfully. I could just use them the way they are. So I'm going to pull the paper off quickly anyway. So A's, these are all the A's right here. A, these are the 3 B's. So I'll put these down here. Got our little clips. I'll get some more. I'll dig them out. I'll clip them together. Maybe the big ones aren't so bad. There's a little one. I guess I'm going to make 2 little baskets for these. Mostly I have big ones. There's another little one. There's one. That's big. Big, big. 4 little ones. Oh, I bet that's little because it's colored. Little. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So it's just 3 of them to sew together. Nice. The watch is telling me to stand. Doesn't it look like I'm standing, you guys? I think I'm already standing. Go figure. No, I'm not. Maybe it's because I need to sit down and stand up again. So I'm putting these together. A's and the B's, and they lock in to each other. And we're going to really make sure it's locked in this time. I guess maybe it wasn't quite locked in enough. I'll put that right on it. This is why pinning might be better, but this is an experiment. And some experiments go well. Some experiments not as well. Yeah, this looks okay. Putting the flat side down because that's where the bed of the machine will be. And I'm just, yeah, I said that and then I clipped that one the other way. There you go. All right. So a long time ago, I was going to do a sew along with, I see, maybe that dropped down a bit. I see what's going on. These may not be as well matched up as I think. Might have to double check this one. Because of the angle, that one thing is coming down lower. No, it looks okay. This one looks okay. And this one needs it for the other spot. Feels good. Okay. Check this one out. Yeah, this needs to come down a little bit. That looks better. Move that one down here. Check this one out. That one looks better. All right, we'll just go with that one. We don't need that one on top. Here we go. I think it's called Toes in the Sand. It's called Toes in the Sand. I have to go through my bins of projects that I've put together. And It's it was by Jaybird Quilts, the book, and I bought it at Phyllis's, so it's been out for a long time. But I follow her on Instagram, and it's been a lot of fun to follow her. And she's got a new quilt out called Nebula, which I love the blocks. I don't love the background that she's done. That's the way the world works. So let's shift it just a little bit. There we go. And but it reminded me, because she said she went back and took her scraps of green to do her quilt that she's remaking her quilt with all the tulip paint fabric that she has that's green. And it reminded me that I had the pattern, and I think it might be a fun sew along to do. So I'm going to show you guys so that we can just sort of chat about it if people are interested. And all right, I'm trying to keep my foot pedal from falling off. I think the Purell bleached my leggings. Oh, wake up. And now I'm taking too long. Not happy with me. So now let's check these out. Oh, that's better. Still not. It actually is perfect, but it's an optical illusion right there. So that one looks okay. Oh, that one's even better. And that one's okay. They're all okay. They're not like super fantastic, but we'll see how it goes with the pressing now. So I'm going to take the original one over there and press it so I know which way. So the A was up. So because no, the A this way, the B's are up. Press it with the B's up. All right. Probably just was the way. I probably flipped it for better or for worse at the iron. All right, I'm taking the paper out of the seam. So I think we're good. Sharon and I quilted my lobster yesterday. I don't have red. I'm hoping in your stash we can find a red that would be good for the binding of this. It's little. It's 33 by maybe 40 max. I don't even think it's 40. It's not that big. So doesn't need to be a lot, but I don't think I have a red that's right. And if I don't have to buy one, all the better. Okay, I'm gonna go press these, make sure the beads are up. I'll be right back. No, I probably shouldn't. Pressing with steam will curl the paper a little bit. This is kind of like when we put the only ones together, and just throw this paper up, and we had the pinwheel center. I mean, we put the triangles and we pressed them all the same way. So now these are going to go together in the center. Da-da-da. And we're going to just flip them right on top of each other, and they nest. This is going to be harder to rip out that in the seam allowance there. So it may not, the whirly thing might not work, but we are going to try. And I should make a corner. All right. I'm going to put a pin right there in that corner. And I'm going to match this baby up. Well, maybe I'm going to take it out, because it doesn't look like the paper is going to work. And I want the center to look so good. Sometimes, this might be a case where it's easier to put this together, taking the paper out first. Because I think this is going to come down here in the corner and maybe not match up as well as I wanted. So this one's better. Okay. We're going to cut that point off because we don't need the extra bulk right in the center of the square. So let's just see how this, ugh, a little dust. That's on my leggings. That was a good move. Oh, thank you for being willing to check. I will bring it to you and so you can see it and have it to compare. And if not, then I'll have to take it with me. Maybe we can go on a road trip to Bits and Pieces if you, depending on how you feel about being in a car with me. Okay, so now I'm gonna open that up. This isn't good, but it's not bad either. I'm not happy with that shift, but it matches there, not there. There's so much going on. We'll see whether we care. See how this one goes. This one's going to line up perfectly, and then I'm going to be upset. Oh, yeah. So that means I'm going to rip that other one out. So took my little points off. Look at that. Look how that works. So I'm going to take the paper off this one. I think the paper is going to come off the other one, and I'm going to be able to ease that in. I'm just going to take the paper off the other one and rip it out. But I'm going to show you the Carol Doak using the seam ripper for this. All right, so we want them to go this in here. So. All right, there's that pressed one. That's pretty darn good. But this one, not so much. So if you are a Carol Doak follower, you will have seen this before. But I'm going to take my seam ripper initially to get it started. And then it's so tiny. You can take your seam ripper and just touch the threads, but you have to have it weeded down. And look at that. Look how fast that works. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just touching it, holding it like a pencil, and pulling back. Now, the risk, you run the risk, ask me how I know, of cutting your fabric. So you have to decide when it's worth the risk and when it is not. Okay? So now, given that we don't want to do a tiny seam again, like that, we're going to take the paper off the seam. Okay? And because it really doesn't matter right now, it's pretty stable. So now we're putting the block together and we're going to match up, and I can use a pin now. It'll be easier to go in there, and I can put my stitch length up to 2.0 so that it will be easier to handle, and we're going to get the pieces to match right there. This is good. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have it correct now. We'll see. Well, only stitching will tell. Probably could have done it right the first time. All right. Now we only have one more seam and our block is done. Oh, there we go. La la la. You know, given how easy that was, I'm gonna press this to make sure I'm pressing it the correct way, because these are going this way. Okay, so this needs to go this way. Okay. I'm going to take the paper out. I'm going to show you how I've done it before. I'm just going to pull the paper out of the top ones where the seam is going to go. It'll come out, should just pop right out, which it is. and then it'll be much easier to sew the seam in. And less paper to take out. Put it on the, you could just take it all out, I suppose. Why not? Let's just keep going around, because we can. Some people actually take some paper out as they go. I'm not going to be too picky about being clean because you're watching, and I don't want to take up your valuable time just pulling paper out, but I also want this block to go together well, and I would have done this regardless. So actually that can go in the trash now, it's been used enough. So we won't tell your kids. My lips are sealed. Will not mention it, period, anywhere. The likelihood of them watching this is probably very slim, so I think we're good. And I just put gas in my car. I got plenty of gas. So, and 1,000 gas points at Stop and Shop. Excited. That'd be because pretty much that's where I've gone to buy my food during the quarantine. All right. So here we go. Paper's out. Just about one little piece in there. All right, so now we're going to pin this baby. Put it together. I'm matching that up. Putting the pin in here. We'll see how close the center comes. I'm not doing the stab the middle. I'm just lining up the seams. But it shouldn't be as hard to rip out. Heaven forbid I should have to. And like I said before, this block isn't getting entered in any competition that I know of. Though it might hang in my show in August. I'm hoping that we can, well, except that all the blocks won't be done by then. I don't know when they actually started this whole piece. Okay, usually I use my awl, but I'm just going to use my tip of my scissors here. To work on my posture. All right, given I threw my other one away. Don't have any sitting over there. Today's trash day, so a lot of stuff went out. Could actually probably. All right, let's just see. Oh my gosh, I think it's good enough. And you're seeing little threads there because I didn't pull them out. So now I'm going to go to the iron and iron a little whirl around. And I have to take those microscopically tiny because I forgot. I like to put slightly. Oh, here's the seam ripper. I have to take these little. I need better light. Take these few stitches out. Because I did not seam rip all of them. And the paper's in the way there. This one's the bit wider one, the 2.0. The other one was 2.3. All right, now I can get it to lie flat. And it's got the little point there. So I highly recommend, if you're doing the block, and if you're going to do the block, that you reverse either A or B. Okay, look at that. Look how perfect it came out. I'm just going to take my scissors right now and clip the little dog ears off the corners. Because I didn't clip, the only reason they're there is because I didn't trim. Remember, I didn't trim the corners on the papers on the one. And this one I did. And it's all good. Okay, so I'm putting it up on the design wall. da-da-da, in its little home. And yes, I still have the one that doesn't work up on my design wall. Put my little clips back there, which were successful most of the time. Put my paper out, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So I'm going to tip you down or up, whichever way really is. Take you off the box. Now you can see me. There we go. All right. Here is the design wall. First, move the box. It's stuck on the cords. All right, just put it back on the floor. All right. There are the blocks. Da 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 da. Yeah, this one that doesn't go, but it is what it is for right now. I'm going to redo it. Just haven't done it. Now, I'm going to show you my little, I'm actually going to bring him closer. There he is, my little pirate. So much fun to do. Oh my gosh. I made a video. Jess is editing it. So if you want to make it, you can. So much fun. The eye patch is my addition. It's not in the pattern. I just stuck it on because what's a pirate without an eye patch? I just can't even imagine. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sharon. That means a lot. All right, now I'm going to show you. I'm going to see if I can stand back far enough. I'll put this way because I can stand back a little farther to show you the other quilt put together. I'm making masks, gobs of them for the church. They had fabric made. I have the backing fabric. Oh. And so I don't think I can get far enough back. There it is. That's the best I can do. This is the Charmed Baby Sew Along from Fat Quarter Shop. It took 5, and there were plenty left over, by the way. Just I'm actually, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. It's from the Fat Quarter Shop. That's what I was trying to say. And this is the fabric that I'm gonna put on the back, right here. And then you make a block that gets sewn into the backing fabric. So that's the so I finished that, which is totally awesome, and it was a lot of fun to do. I have to put these on so I can read the chat. Oh, so that's it for today. So Sharon, I'll reach out to you. I'll text you, and we can after I'm done cleaning up and stuff in here, and we can set a time to get together, maybe on the deck and stuff, and exchange stuff, and maybe go on a road trip. Maybe that's how we get together. So that is the scoop. Have an awesome day, everybody. And next week, back to 10 o'clock, our normal